guys, thank you for joining us. I'm joined today by Hunter Drake. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you, bro?
I'm good, dude. Like we said before we started recording, we finally got there, man.
Yeah, took us long enough, but we're here.
We are here, man. How are you anyway? Are you traveling?
Yeah, I'm traveling today. I haven't left yet. I'm just sitting in my car while my girlfriend cleans the house, but I do an interview and just disrupt her, But yeah, I'm traveling to Alabama today from Tennessee, and then we got 2 days there, and then we're hitting Indiana Sunday. So good weekend ahead. Good weekend ahead.
Oh, man. I'll tell you right now, I've been to Indiana and I absolutely love the place. So I am ridiculously jealous, man, that you're going to be in Indiana this weekend. I love the place, man. Love the place. We went out for All in Chicago a couple of years ago. But we've got a friend who's from Indiana, so we stayed there with him, then drove down. And oh man, I fell in love with Indiana. Absolutely fell in love with Indiana.
Awesome.
But
Awesome.
Tennessee's on the bucket list as well, though. That is definitely on my bucket list to get there as well.
You definitely should. Tennessee's awesome, especially where I live, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge area, the tourist towns, Gatlinburg.
Oh.
Dude, nothing beats it.
Love it, man. Hey, I'll get there, dude. I will get there. It's on the bucket.
Sure.
It's on the bucket list. But I've got to ask you as well, man. Obviously, your career. I mean, you're looking at who trained you. I mean, let's start. I mean, Ricky Morton, Tom Pritchard. I mean, how's that experience been like learning from those guys?
Dude, it's like surreal. It was surreal. So I started training. Well, I started my professional training at School of Morton with Ricky Morton.
Yeah.
In January 2020. And then summer of 2020, I enrolled in Dr. Tom Pritchard and Glenn Jacobs class at the JPWA. And I trained there for a while. And I still train there once a week. I hit up Ricky's probably about twice a month. So I'm trying to stay training, always stay learning, ears open. Dr. Tom is a genius. He is the number one trainer in the world. And I don't care what anyone says, nobody beats Dr. Tom Pritchard. He thinks so deep into professional wrestling. And I love it. I absolutely love how he picks apart every single aspect. Dr. Tom Pritchard School, Ricky Morton School, I definitely suggest those to anybody watching.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot about Dr. Tom. A lot of people say, just how good he really, really is. And you've got to experience that. I mean, is it been a different training with him and Ricky? Did you learn different things with them both, or is it quite similar?
Yeah. So when I was training at Ricky's school, the head trainer there was actually Crazy Steve from Impact.
Oh, right, cool.
Yeah, so I learned a lot from Crazy Steve. He's a really cool guy. And then Ricky would pop in once a week. So you got to do a practice match in front of Ricky once a week. Whereas Dr. Tom's school, Dr. Tom is the head trainer, and he is the only trainer there every single day.
Yeah.
And then Glenn Jacobs pops in about as much as Ricky, about once a week. But you are training hands-on learning with Dr. Tom Pritchard, and you can't beat that.
And what's it obviously training with Kane, Glenn Jacobs? I've actually met Glenn a couple of years ago, and he's such a sweet guy. I mean, he's 7 foot, 320 pound, but when you actually meet him and talk to him, he's one of the nicest people you could ever meet.
Right, he's awesome. He also, which he was big in my favorite time period of wrestling, around 2000 to 2009. So yeah, that's why I always love. It's just so nostalgic to me training with Glenn. But he's very smart. He is very smart, as anybody would expect.
Yeah,
but he's the man.
And he's huge as well, isn't he? I mean, I met him. He was sat down. He was sat down when I met him, and I couldn't believe the size of the guy. I mean, he was still about the same height as me, sat down on a chair. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, you're massive. Huge.
He is huge. There was one day where he brought, actually Taker came, Undertaker. They were filming stuff. We didn't get to train with him because they were just filming some stuff for a network show. But when they walked in, it was like two just towers walking in. They are massive people.
I can imagine. Yeah, I mean that's just wow. That's insane. I mean that must have been surreal for you when they walked through the door and you just staring at those two.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like two of my favorite childhood heroes walking into a room with me, and it's like literally when they walk in, the mood just changes.
Yeah,
everyone It's so awesome. So awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same dude. Undertaker's my guy as well. I mean, I'm old enough to remember I watched his debut at the Survivor Series, so I'm showing my age there a little bit. But yeah, he's always been the man for me as Undertaker, man. So I totally get that feeling. Um, Moving on as well, I've got to ask you, obviously, a new promotions. A lot of people have been telling me about New South. I know you've been working there, and a lot of people we've spoken to said, "Oh, check out New South, check out New South." I mean, what's it like for you being working there then? Because it's a company that I'm very much is on my radar.
That's actually where I'm headed tonight and
Oh,
tomorrow.
wow.
New South is awesome, man. Fun fact, I actually started professional wrestling at New South. And
Wow.
they started training me and my tag partner, All Beef, shout out All Beef, and then two of our other friends. They started training us in 2017.
Yeah.
And then we debuted for them in 2018. And that's really the place where I got rolling until I started getting professional training when I moved to Tennessee. But yeah, New South based out of Alabama. There's some great shows, great stars. Guys like Derek Neal, he's the unsigned hero. Guys like Adam Priest, as you've seen on AEW Dark. Guys like Donnie Janela, cousin of Joey Janela. I mean, and they just, it's one of the few indie places that will progress stories and push their show as an actual show on the IWTV. And they have a weekly time slot, Tuesdays, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. my time, 7 p.m. Alabama time. I don't know. Time zones are weird. But, yeah. But yeah, I definitely recommend New South. I think New South is one of the hottest indies today. And once they get the right eyes on them, they have a chance to become the hottest indie show.
Yeah, so I've had a few people we've spoken to have said, check out. They've recommended a few places, but one that always gets recommended is New South. And so it's definitely a company on my radar to check out. I mean, and also you mentioned obviously the storytelling, because I know in your Twitter bio it says flippy shit, but I mean, is that something you're a big fan of though? Is like the long-term storytelling?
Oh yeah, it's storytelling. Flippy, yeah. I mean, I'm flippy shit. I will do all my flips and all the fun stuff and get the crowd loving it. But at the end of the day, every match needs a story, and every show needs a story. Like you need to, if you're on a show, you need to progress a storyline weekly. But if you're just there for a match, make that match have a story behind it. You can do the flips, you can do the modern day wrestling, but just incorporate a story that you want to tell. For instance, I wrestled Toby Farley last week. My mindset was, okay, the story is it's little guy, big guy. I got to chop the tree. I got to take him down. So when I finally took him down, crowd was nuts because I'd been trying to do it all match. It's just that's what wrestling is missing throughout the indie scene today. And that's what Dr. Tom Pritchard really opened my eyes to, is like, you can do the modern day wrestling and the modern day wrestling moves, but just put a story behind it and place them to where you're furthering that story to where you finally get that one moment that the fans will remember.
That's it, dude. I mean, as a fan, that's it. I want to be invested. I want to know why you're doing this. Why are you guys fighting and why you're doing this and that in the ring. And that's what I love about it as well, dude. I mean, like I said, I'm 37 next week, so I've been watching wrestling since like the mid to late 80s. And I was always a fan of the long-term storytelling. I want to be invested. I want to be drawn in, and that's exactly what I totally agree with you on that. It's what I love about the business. Another company as well I want to move on as well, because it's a company that we're huge fans of, IWA Mid-South. That's a big company for us. What's it like being working there?
Dude, that's one that's like a dream come true, because I actually grew up watching a lot of independent wrestling, and I grew up watching IWA Mid-South because they had guys like Punk, Hero, Christopher Daniels. I mean, the list goes on and on. Austin Aries, like you can name so many.
I mean, Seth Rollins was Seth Rollins there?
Yes.
Marek Brain.
Black. AJ Styles, all these great professional wrestlers. That's one place I wanted to be. And now it's like I can get up there literally whenever I want, whenever I ask. And that's just, I feel so honored and privileged and grateful that that's where I'm at in my career. I actually got to wrestle Jake Crist for the IWA World title a month ago. And so, like, I wrestled for a world title held by so many greats. That's so surreal to me. And this whole ride has just been so surreal to me. But I am very grateful that Ian Rotten gives me the opportunities that he does, and he does believe in me, regardless of what anybody else has to say about him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm very blessed to be a regular at IWA Mid-South, somewhere where it has such an amazing legacy. And you can just look back on the time period in wrestling and just find so many great matches in their vault. So, yeah, I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed for sure.
Yeah, because obviously I was going to ask you about the match with Jake, Chris, because we spoke to Jake a few weeks ago as well.
Really?
And he's obviously he's reinvented himself at the moment. He's doing so many good things. Obviously, what was it like? Obviously, like you said, getting that world title shot, and what was it like working with Jake?
Dude, it was awesome. I mean, like, Jake has a very, very good mind for pro wrestling, is what I learned, and he did teach me a lot. The match was great. I did come up short, which sucks, but hopefully I get another rematch against him, and hopefully me and Jake can stand across that ring one-on-one again, and I can walk out IWA World Champion, because that is one of my goals in professional wrestling before I make it. Is I have a list of indie goals, and IWA World Champion is definitely on there. So we'll see.
Hell yeah, man. And obviously you mentioned it's someone that we don't get to talk about much, but you mentioned Ian Rotten. I mean, like you said, Ian's you paused. Oh, there you go, dude. Yeah, Ian's someone that we haven't really had a chance to speak about much, but I mean, how much of an influence has Ian been on you, obviously working with IWA?
Dude, it's awesome. Ian, we all know Ian doesn't have the best reputation throughout the wrestling world, but for me, I can state that Ian has always been good to me, and he has always been real. So if I have a terrible match that night, after the show, he's gonna come to me and be like, "Bro, that was terrible. You need to fix this, fix this, fix this." And I really respect his honesty with professional wrestlers, because I've seen him in post-show meetings just tell people straight up, like, "Dude, you're not ready. You suck, this and that." He's like, "I'm not doing it to be a dick. I'm doing it just to help you." Yeah. And I love that. I love honesty, and I love criticism.
Yeah.
And Ian Rotten is the number one guy who gives me the most honest and complete criticism. And I appreciate it, because he cares enough to actually pay attention and tell me what I did wrong and tell me to fix it. Most people don't care. Most people's just going to say, "Hey, man, that was a good match." And then that's it. So that's why I have a lot of respect for Ian.
That's what you want, man. It's that constructive criticism. You want someone that's going to tell you what you're doing wrong, in that kind of a way. A lot of people be offended by that, but constructive criticism is a big help, and especially obviously in the wrestling business, like you said, that's what you want to hear. You want to be told that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what, I mean, Ian, people say Ian's done some shitty things in wrestling, and that has nothing to do with me, because he's never done anything bad to me. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly. I mean, one of the guys that I spoke to a couple of weeks ago, we spoke to about IWA, and we mentioned Ian a little bit. I think you've worked with him as well, Ace Perry.
Yeah, Ace is the man. I love Ace.
I mean, that's a reason why I got you on. Is a lot of the reason why I got Ace on as well, is because I think you are both two of the big like wrestlers to watch out for. I mean, what was it like, obviously, working with Ace Perry then?
Ace is awesome, man. He has just a completely different mind, and he's such a positive human. He is awesome. Ace, I haven't seen him at IWA in a minute, but I do hope he comes back so we can run one-on-one, because it'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be one the fans would definitely have to check out.
Oh, definitely do. Like I said, I said it to Ace, I say it to you. I just think there's something special about you two, and I think there's a huge future for you both.
Thank you.
So I'd happily watch you two go at it every night. I really, really would. But obviously, you've wrestled a few big names. I mean, another guy we've spoken to, I know you've worked with, and that's Chris Dickinson.
Dickinson.
Yeah, I mean, what's it like working with him? Because obviously different styles to Ace Perry as well. I mean, what's it like working with Chris?
Working with Chris is, as a young talent, is very intimidating, because he's been doing this for so long, and he is such a guy I used to watch on Evolve, and now I'm stepping into the ring with him. what? That's crazy. Chris is awesome, though. I mean, everything that we did, it was a big tag match, but everything that I did with Chris was clean, smooth, and his only advice to me was get bigger. And I mean, he's right. So I love Chris Dickinson, that's for sure. And I'm very blessed to have gotten to step in the ring with him so early on in my career.
Yeah, and he's another guy. I remember when we spoke to him, you mentioned earlier, he's another guy that really understands the business, isn't he?
Right. Yes, he is. He has such that old school mindset, and old school mentality, but he also knows, like, hey, it's 2021. We got to do the new school moves. Just do it in an old school way, and I love that.
No, absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, it was a pleasure to speak to him. That's why I had to ask you. I thought, man, you've met Chris Dickinson. I mean, that's a big name to go, one-on-one with.
Yes.
Obviously, Mania's coming up. I mean, is there anything happening Mania weekend for you?
Yeah, Mania weekend. I have one show set in stone, but it's actually my biggest show yet. I make my Game Changer Wrestling debut on Jimmy Lord's Degeneration F. I'll be competing in a scramble match. That's my only show as of now. But I mean, it's the hottest indie show there is right now, GCW. So I'm very blessed to have swung that, and I'm very excited to hopefully earn my spot there with that match. That's my goal. That's my end-all be-all goal in that scramble, is to earn my spot and come out victorious and have everyone talking by the end of the night.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, obviously GCW, we've had obviously the pandemic's going on, and I think GCW have been one of the main companies that have really kept the indie promotions going.
Live.
Yeah, yes. I mean, what's it like been for you, obviously, watching GCW during the pandemic?
Oh, dude, I've always been a GCW fan. So, like, that's always been my number one goal in my short-term career, is to be a regular on GCW and have those eyes on me. And just really because I feel like once you're on GCW, you've made it in indie wrestling. Yeah. You're looked at as those top indie stars. And that's really where I want to be. And they have so many great guys there that I've actually gotten to share the ring with and been blessed to wrestle. And, like, those are just guys that I want to be amongst and guys that I want to be in the ring with every single weekend. And that's just amazing, great show that I would love to be a part of.
Yeah. How have you found it as well, obviously, with the pandemic? I mean, how have you found it still working and getting bookings? Is it still being okay?
Yeah. I mean, fans are down more than they used to be, because of 50% capacity and everything. But as far as wrestling goes, it really paused and stopped for, like, the first 2-3 months of the pandemic. Then it just started up again. And now is like it never even happened. Now it's like back to normal for the most part. Some places are doing half capacity, and then the social distancing is definitely a thing. And I always wear my mask at shows. But other than that, it's like getting bookings are the same. I'm filled up every weekend, 3 to 4 nights a week.
Yep.
And it's really awesum. It's a dream come true.
That's cool, man. I say, obviously, here in the UK, we haven't had a show since last March. So we've had a year with no wrestling. I don't think we've got anything booked as well till at least August. So the US Indies have really kept us going. Obviously, you've got WWE, AEW, places like that. But the US Indies have been what have kept our passion for wrestling going. Like you said, GCW. There's obviously New Wave in Indiana. It's a company we've got really into, companies like that. And that's really kept us going. But I mean, what's your goal going forward then? I mean, is it to continue on the indies, making a name for yourself? Is there an end goal?
Yeah, well, obviously, as a professional wrestler, my end goal is the WWE. That is where I want to end up to end my wrestling dream. But for now, I'm only 20 years old. I want to ride the wave, and I just want to live the experience. So my short-term goal for the next 2 to 3 years is to just become a top indie guy and travel. And once I get to that point, turn around and help the younger indie guys like myself. Turn around and help them and just teach them everything that I know and help them come up before I get on my way and sign somewhere. So my short-term goal is definitely to be a top indie guy.
Yeah.
I love independent wrestling, so.
That's it, man. We all love independent wrestling, so I totally get that. But you mentioned obviously traveling. I mean, could we see you over in the UK at some point? Is that a goal?
Oh, yes, I would love to. I want to hit the UK, I want to hit Mexico, and I want to hit Canada. Those are my 3 top countries right now once this pandemic lightens up and I'm able to travel out more to different countries and different shows out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the UK scene, obviously, when it was booming, obviously, we are at the moment.
Oh yeah.
When it hits up again, dude, you'll have no issues getting work out here because there's just promotions all over the place.
That's awesome.
You'll thrive over here, dude. You really will, and we'll be front row, dude. You get over to the UK, dude. We'll be there. We'll be there to see you. I can guarantee that.
Awesome.
But before we let you go, obviously, I know you've got to travel. First of all, please come back because we'd love to get you back on and talk some more.
Dude, I would love to. This is awesome.
Excellent, dude. Before we let you go, tell them where they can find you, social media, any merchandise, upcoming shows.
Okay, so I'm on Twitter at _Hunter Drake. I'm on Instagram at altogether the Hunter Drake, and my Facebook is just Hunter Drake. So yeah,
Awesome.
I ship my merchandise. So hit me up if you want a shirt. I'll ship it out to you. I'll sign it, whatever. I'll throw in a picture, a bracelet. Yeah.
Hey, you can't go wrong with that, dude. You can't go wrong with that. But
for sure.
Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure, honestly. I know you've got to you're gonna travel. Enjoy your show tonight, man. Honestly, I'm gonna go and check out some New South on YouTube as well. I've been. That's my evening.
Former 2-time New South Tag Team champions, myself and my partner, All Beef Tyler Franks. That's the place to go.
Hell yeah, man. That's where I'm gonna start tonight. I guarantee that's my first stop. But dude, thank you so much for coming on. I'll stay in touch, get you back at some point. But enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your show tonight, man, and we'll speak again soon.
Yes, thank you so much. Stay in touch. God bless.
You too, man. Thank you.